hope you're having an awesome day. So today I want to talk to you about why I help people with their money mindset, and in particular why I help entrepreneurs with their money mindset. So in today's video I'm going to talk to you about why I do the work that I do, but also how I actually got into it and how I worked out that money mindset was a thing. So like a lot of things, I mean, this has been I suppose quite a long journey for me. I have always been interested in personal development. So for as long as I can remember, I've been reading personal development books. Hey Joel, glad you're able to join me. Thanks for watching. So yeah, I've always been into personal development and always was into self-improvement and things like that. And if I reflect back on my life, I think it's fair to say I had achieved some successes. So I was able to get a scholarship I really wanted straight out of school, got a pretty good job. But the truth is I was never really as successful as I wanted to be. So I was quite shy, really quite introverted. So I had to work really hard even to, get things like a scholarship. And to some people it may have come across that like maybe I was confident, but deep down I wasn't. So I probably had really quite low self-esteem and didn't really believe in myself and just sort of pushed myself to achieve certain things. But so much that I really wanted just felt out of my reach in life. And, this was kind of a theme that carried through into a lot of my life. So on the surface, it would look like I'd be achieving quite good things, but the things that I really wanted, and by that I kind of mean business success. So I always saw myself as, someone having like a huge business, being an entrepreneur, and I would start things and, would kind of fail at them and just wouldn't quite get them there. And so around, maybe 8 years ago now, 6 or 8 years ago, I'd reached a point in my career. So if you haven't seen my videos before, my background is actually finance. So I had a management accounting career. And it was always one of those jobs that was really quite stressful. So I mean, I thrived on all the great opportunities that I had to sort of be part of really great teams and help work on company strategy. But the pressure that came with that was enormous. And early in my 30s, I started to think, I can't do this forever. Like one day I might want to have kids and, the stress of this is already killing me and I need to find something else to do. And so I looked, really drew on my passion around personal development and decided to do a life coaching certification. So I was actually going to go back to university and do a psychology degree. And then when I looked into the full process, I worked out that if I was going to do it part-time, it would be about 10 years until I worked with a client, and that was just way too long for me. I didn't have the patience for that. So I took a more direct path and decided to do coaching instead, because I thought, well, I've already got a lot of skills and experience and I just want to be able to help people a lot more quickly. Hey Rowan, great to have you on. I decided to do a life coaching certification, and one of the things that I learned through doing that was just this amazing process to how you go about and achieve goals. So it is something that you can do systematically. So you learn to work out what it is you want and then you take action, but you do it alongside working on things like your self-limiting beliefs. And if you combine all of that, there is a very effective approach to being able to achieve your goals. And so that was something I started to, help people with as well. So I used it in my own career and I started to help others with what I'd learned as a life coach. But one thing that I found was something still felt like it was missing for me. So even though I now had this awesome process, and in fact I used it to launch my own coaching business online, started to get my first few clients, but I, again, couldn't really get it to where I wanted it to be. And so that feeling started eating away at me again, where I thought, why does something feel like it's wrong? Like I've put all of this work in, I'm certified now, I've built a business, but something is still missing. It was one of those things that when you really get down to the core of the pain, that thing that you don't really want to face up to was a little voice saying to me, maybe the problem's me. Maybe there's something wrong with me. And I felt like I was in this huge state of conflict because part of me was saying, well, I've got this drive, like I, work my ass off. I really want to be successful and I feel like I'm really destined for something amazing. But then another part of me just couldn't quite break through. It's almost like I really wanted something, but I felt sort of heartbroken within myself because I could just never get myself there. And so I went on this really deep, I guess a soul search, but I had tried that. Like I'd tried to look within myself, thought, I'd learned how to coach people, so I must have all the answers. So went looking for other mentors. So other people who were maybe a little bit less in the strategic space, so a little bit more in the transformational space, which was sort of what I'd called a bit of a dark zone. It just wasn't something that, I resonated with. Like I'd come from quite a sort of structured background. And so I started to explore, different types of modalities. And I luckily came across, well, I shouldn't say luckily because I feel like it's something that was coming because I, really felt that I needed to go and search for this thing for myself and to help others. And I ended up finding a mentor who taught me about money blocks. So up until that point, I didn't even know that money blocks were a thing. Like I'd never heard that term. I thought, what on earth are money blocks? But the stuff that I learned really spoke to me. I felt like somebody could really see the pain that I was in that maybe didn't show on the outside, like sort of this darkness in my life, that someone was able to talk to me at that level and say, hey, you know what, it's not you. There's just some stuff there that we've got to work on. And A, you probably didn't know it was there, and B, you've never known how to work on it. And so it was just this groundbreaking experience for me. And all it turned out to be really is that there were events from earlier in my life that had made a huge impression on me. So, what happens is when you're a child, up until the age of sort of 5 or 6, like your conscious mind isn't fully formed, so you're really impressionable. So anything that you observe, things you see, they don't even have to be your own experiences. You can overhear a conversation and totally misunderstand it, but interpret it in a way that it ends up affecting things like your self-image or, your sense of belief and confidence about the world. And so it's all of that stuff that ends up being traumatic for you. They don't even need to be big things, but it's trauma that you don't know how to deal with at the time. And because you don't know how to deal with it, you end up storing it. And it just turned out that some of these things were really quite small, like some comment someone had made, and that stuff is what had been holding me back all this time. Because what ends up happening is, because you've stored this trauma, when you're trying to go after something really big in the present day, you end up drawing on all of those old negative, dark feelings, except you have no idea that it has to do with something from really long ago. All you experience is that it holds you back today when you're trying to go after something that you really want. And so what was the most amazing about all this work that I started to discover around money blocks is that the process to clear it is actually super quick. The challenge really is that you don't even know what the trauma is, so you don't know what to clear, and then you may not have a technique to do it. And so from the point that I started to work on my own money blocks and started to overcome them, things just changed massively for me. So my career that I thought like I hated because it was so stressful actually took off. So the work itself didn't change, but I changed. I learned, how to lead people, how to get teams to help do the work, so it wasn't all on my shoulders. And got it to the point where the last job I did before I left the corporate world was actually something that, I kind of just had dreamed of doing, that the opportunity came to me, which was to lead a huge transformation project for a finance team. So I kind of just got handed like $5 million, and it was like, go change all the systems, help transform the mindset of the people. So it's kind of like, for me, a dream job, like being an accountant. Anyway, so there was the career aspect, but I also found my passion in other things. So even in my business, more people started to come forward who, wanted help, like with their goals. And so coaching took off for me in that regard. And the other thing that sort of came out too was I had always had a love for singing, and I'd sung in various groups, and found myself in a new band that I really loved singing with. And not only that, I found it was the first time I was able to really step into my confidence and actually really enjoy the process of performing without being this bundle of nerves. So there's a whole story around that too, which I'll save for another day. But it's just unbelievable how my life just turned around. It's almost like I stepped into my own version of who I was meant to be all this time, and there was just this darkness blocking me that all of a sudden started to clear away. And so the really interesting thing is the reason, I talk about money mindset is because it shows up in your money. So all of this trauma, all of these things that you've dealt with in your life, the first place they show up is in your inability to reach your goals and make money. And then for some other people, they're able to make money, but they're not able to keep it. And that might be because they spend it all, or because they get into debt, or because they just have enormous guilt around making money and having money. And that's all to do with, trauma from earlier on in your life. And so, while some of it has to do directly with beliefs around money, and the good news is that's the really easy part to work on. So when I work with people, we clear that stuff off straight away. The stuff that can be a little bit harder is the stuff that doesn't really have to do with money. So it's that random thing that a teacher might have said to you that really shaped your life in a negative way, but you had no idea. And so, the reason it's so hard, as I said before, is because people don't even know it's there, and they don't know how to make the connection between negative experiences from the past to their, present day inability to break through and, break through new ground and smash through their goals. And so, one of the gifts that I feel it's now like my duty to offer to people is that I know how to identify this stuff, and I know how to clear it really quickly. And works like incredibly fast. And so in a nutshell, that's why I do what I do, because it's really a reflection of my own journey and the struggles that I went through. And when I found the answers, found that missing piece, everything else started to make sense. So all the stuff I had done in coaching, I now am able to combine the two and not only help people break through their darkness, but then go on and actually execute stuff, in a way that they can do it without self-sabotaging and without being held back by their past. And so in particular, I work with entrepreneurs because I really want to help people who are out there on a mission. So people who are creating something and trying to make, the world a better place, trying to really make an impact on the world. And I'm by no means suggesting that you're not doing that if you're in a corporate job. I mean, that was my background, but I just find that, entrepreneurs, so many of them, like I sort of see it all around me. And again, because I was in this space, I can just see how many people are stuck and they don't need to be. And so now that I know what that missing piece is, I feel really compelled to, pass that on to others and to help them so that they can take their gifts and share those with the world without being held back. And so hopefully that gives you some insight into, what I do, what money blocks are, and why I'm doing what I'm doing. So that brings me to sort of the second part of this video, which is I have two very special announcements. So the first announcement is that tomorrow night I'm going to be doing a live, and I'm going to have a very special guest on. And so this person that I'm going to be interviewing has an incredible money mindset success story. And that person's name is Rowan Merry. Now, you may or may not have heard of Rowan. I met him only a couple of weekends ago. And Rowan shared his story, and honestly, I was so moved by it. I just burst into tears when I heard it. I approached Rowan and said, look, I've got to get you on my live because the stuff that you're sharing is just incredible on so many levels. And so Rowan has had incredible business success. A really great story around that too. I won't spill the beans now, but Rowan has not only succeeded in business himself, but he's on a mission to help lots of other people as well, move forward with their lives. And he's also going to share some incredible sales strategies, which are so different to anything that I've heard other people share before. So I'm totally thrilled that Rowan has agreed to come on and be my special guest tomorrow. He'll be sharing some insights into the secrets behind his own success. And so I especially want to give a shout out to all the guys who might be watching. So I know, just looking at my own Facebook feed, there's so much help for women out there at the moment. Like, there are a lot of coaches who specifically work with women, and I think that's great, and I understand why they do what they do. Sometimes I feel a bit bad for the guys, because I feel like, you know, the guys are missing out. Like, who's helping the guys with their pain? Do they have someone they can connect with? And guys, this is for you. You really want to be on this live tomorrow, because Rowan is your man. He knows how to connect with guys, work with them, and you know, he's really going to help you. He specializes in working with men mostly, and yeah, he'll really help you move things forward. So definitely get on the live. And so that brings me to the second part of my announcement, which is how you can join the live. So I've actually got a brand new Money Mindset Accelerator group that I've just created. It's brand new, and that's where I'll be hosting all of my amazing guest speakers. So Rowan's going to be my very first guest speaker. And so you'll be able to catch Rowan in my new group. So we'll be doing it at 8 p.m. tomorrow night. I will be posting all the details, so you don't need to remember all of this. But that's where you'll be able to get your hands on all of my free money mindset trainings as well. And you know, really, this is for you if you're an entrepreneur and you've been in the space where you've been doing course after course, and especially if you're, you know, in a course that you thought would move you forward, you're now seeing other people get results, and for some reason you're not getting those results. So if that's you, and if that's happened to you before, then, you know, I'd suggest maybe it is time to look deeper. Maybe it's time you really started working on your money mindset. And so if you want to start to learn how to do that, jump into my group and you'll be able to access some free resources and start to get your hands on some of my trainings. So I'm going to put a link below this video for you to join the group. You can also get to it through my profile as well. But yeah, that's it from me for now. And remember to join us tomorrow when I'm going to have Rowan on, and he's going to share his incredible story and his great strategies for success. So thank you very much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of the night, and I will see you tomorrow with my very special guest, Rowan Mary. Bye for now.